responsible for a vacant property in an estate due to the owner's passing often causes thoughts of potential vandalism and squatters. Hi, I'm Charlotte Volsch, Realtor, Certified Probate Specialist, and Trust Advisor. And on this channel, we teach you all that you need to know about probate. So, what is a squatter? Well, that's someone in the property without permission. And this could be an unknown trespasser or possibly a family member deciding to move in without any consent. Or it could be someone staying in the property beyond their contractual time. This could be a tenant, or it could be a caregiver who was caring for the person that's passed. Now, each state has their own laws around possession based on occupancy. So it's really important to have an experienced guide to help you understand your options if this happens to be your situation. Your first important step is securing the property. As soon as it's vacant, this can be done by hiring a locksmith to change all the locks, the garage codes, and posting no trespassing sign. Your second step is going to be setting up a watch of the property. Having a trusted neighbor is paramount, or a service to keep an eye on the home that can then alert my team if attention is needed. This is especially important if the home is in a homeowners association, because we want to protect the estate from unknown violations, which would be leading to fines that can pile up quickly. Third would be to work closely with your team of professionals to move into and through the probate process quickly. That will be reducing the time the property is at risk of someone entering unauthorized and squatting in the home. So someone such as a family member or a previous caregiver has taken up occupancy without consent. In most states, an eviction process must take place. So depending on the laws of the state, this process can take from 30 to 120 days or more. This unnerving situation requires the serving of a 3-day notice, and that is followed up by a notice to evict, which is subject to court approval. Now then, once the court approves, the order to evict is enforced by the sheriffs. And in most cases, you will need to hire an eviction attorney, costing the estate a minimum of $2,500, and the inability to market the property for the highest net proceeds for the estate during that process. Now, of even more concern around this process comes from really not knowing the current and future condition once the unauthorized occupants do vacate the property. So there's two options that I have successfully used to shorten the time of the parties leaving. First off was Freddie's situation. His sister moved into the house 1 week after their mother's passing. The sister would not respond to calls or communication from either Freddie or the probate attorney. So Freddie was just like totally done with his sister, and he said that he had an ongoing disconnect with her, but to protect the estate, he didn't want to wait. He wanted things to be done quickly with the sale. So because of my investor following, I was able to sell the property to an investor with his sister still occupying the property. The new owner would then deal with her becoming either a paying tenant, or they would be going through the process of evicting her. Now either way, Freddie didn't have to evict his sister while he protected the estate. And Freddie shared that he had had an investor approach him with that same idea. So I asked if he was willing to explore receiving a higher amount than that initial offer for the estate, and of course he said yes. So sure enough, through my investor connections, I was able to secure an offer for $25,000 over what Freddie had been initially offered. Now that more than covered any fees, and in fact put an additional $12,000 into the estate account. Freddie was released from going through the additional emotionally draining family drama. Now the second option, I've used this quite often and very successfully, is offering cash for keys. Now in Danny's situation, his cousin had moved in with Danny's mother 5 years before she passed. After her death, Danny told his cousin that the property would be sold. This cousin became quite defensive and he threatened to start dismantling the property. Now, because Danny lived out of state, this was very troubling, and he had no way to monitor the condition of the home, and that's when I recommended offering his cousin cash for keys. Cash is usually a good talker. The cousin would receive the cash to help him secure new housing once the property was fully vacated. So I negotiated an agreeable time to vacate with no dismantling and with all of the property cleared out. In the end, the property was vacated, the sale closed. The amount of the cash for keys was far less than the full eviction process, plus the time period where a mortgage payment would need to be continued paying. You'll notice we are really good problem solvers, but what's even more important is that we're exceptional problem avoiders.